Have you ever seen a magic trick or watched a YouTube video or Netflix show on magic tricks? The things magicians do are crazy, but extremely awesome. Now, I'm not talking about the magicians that do the little card tricks where they guess what card you picked, but the one that can make people float or stick swords down their throats. Have you ever tried to learn a magic trick? They can be pretty simple if you look at it from the right angle. Magicians always say, a magician never reveals his secrets, but I'm about to reveal them to you, because I'm not a magician. Here are the world's 10 most famous magic tricks revealed. Walking on water.
This pool party will be the setting for a trick of biblical proportions.
When you see people walking on water, we are usually baffled. How did they do it? It is pretty simple, actually. Any guesses? We know these people are tricking us, but it's hard to believe when they're walking on the water right in front of your face. We know all magic is the ability to trick people or divert their attention, making something impossible seem real.
We can see as his feet are treading on top of the water.
In reality, these people have put down plexiglass to walk on. How they got the plexiglass there without anyone realizing it is the real trick. This trick seems pretty simple, but you probably have to have good balance so you don't wobble around and fall. God forbid you do, because then you gotta redo the trick, dry off and put new clothes on and start over. Float and spin a playing card.
Balancing. Whee, yay.
The card is flying, or is it? How has a simple little card defeated gravity? Well, it's not like we're in space where there is no gravity, so how is that little card floating and spinning around like nothing is holding it down? Well, good news for you, this trick is relatively easy to learn. All you have to do is practice it. That's easier said than done. Now with this trick, the card levitates and spins underneath your hand. To do this trick, you have to get a few things: a playing card, some clear tape, and black string. Tape the black string to the center of your card. Then attach the other end of your string to a belt loop or shirt button. Place the string between your pointer finger and middle finger. Now you're halfway there. You'll want the string to be fairly taut, then about a foot of string between your hand and the card. You launch it as if you're throwing a frisbee with your other hand, and the card should spin on its axis point. There you have it, the floating and spinning card. That's so easy. It's not. Floating man. Seeing a floating man is not really that strange. We see astronauts float in space. The only thing strange about seeing a floating man is we're here on Earth. It's almost like he has the ability to fly, which would be pretty awesome, but that's not the case. Sometimes these people put their hands on the ground and seem to have the strength to hold themselves up for hours on end. However, they're being very tricky. These people are actually sitting on something hidden beneath their baggy clothes. Another way to float is to have a shadow drawn on the ground, lay or stand slightly above it, and there you have it, you're floating. If you're lying down, you'll need to elevate your legs and head, obviously, else you won't look like you're floating. But how do you do it, really, and make it believable? That's the trick right there. How to make a penny jump through glass.
And now the magician has a little bit of sleight of hand using nothing more than a glass-top table and this shiny penny.
A solid through another solid. That's a pretty mind-boggling thing. Logistically, solids cannot go through another solid. Well, unless you're a magician, then you can make a solid go through a solid. Of course. A penny through a glass. You're being tricked. The magician has 2 coins. Get it? He puts 1 in each hand, or so you think. He actually has 3 coins, 1 in one hand and 2 in the other. Now, this trick is more easily done on a table for the beginners. Basically, you take 1 coin in one hand and slam it on the table. Your other hand, which is underneath the table with the 2 coins, will catch the coin you just slammed through the table. When you pull your hand out from under the table, you have 2 coins, one of which has just gone through the table. Sneaky. Well, you can't fool us here at Come Along, can ya? Well, I don't know. I've been fooled a lot. Chinese water torture cell.
Most tricks aren't very dangerous, but this one really is.
You know that magic trick where that person gets in a box filled to the brim with water, his feet are chained to the lid? How will he get out? Are we going to watch him drown? Nope. By some miracle, he manages to unlock his feet and get out of the cage. How does he do it? Well, While the lid is being closed, the assistant removes the pin to the lid so the person in the water can open it. Now all the magician has to do is find a hidden key and unlock his feet from the surprisingly loose restraints. Here we are thinking he somehow unlocked the lock himself when it was just a key, and some very good acting. Sorry, bud, no Golden Globe for that one though. But I must admit, holding your breath that long is pretty impressive. Statue of Liberty disappears.
The United States government has granted permission for David Copperfield's attempt to vanish the Statue of Liberty. Why?
Now the Statue of Liberty is really big, stuck on the ground, cannot move. So how does the magician get the Statue of Liberty to disappear? Well, it's another trick for the eyes and mind. Copperfield's most well-known trick was making the Statue of Liberty disappear in 1983. In front of 20 tourists and millions of people watching on TV, he raised a scaffolding with a huge curtain on it in front of the Statue of Liberty. And when the curtain dropped, it was gone. A helicopter flew above to get an aerial view. The only thing that was left were the lights surrounding it. However, the statue was still there. Right when the curtains dropped, the lights shone out at the people and straight up. The lights that shone on Liberty were turned off, making her harder to see. This was also done at night. This created the illusion that she disappeared, when in fact it was a trick on the eye. It's amazing what just lighting can do. Now you see her, now you don't. The signed card trick. Have you ever seen that card trick where the magician has you pick two cards at random, sign the front of one card, then the back of the other? They're both then placed on a table. One card is picked up and waved around, and when the card is turned over, your signature is gone. Well, where did it go? To the other card. But how did he do it? Well, basically you have 3 cards. You falsely shuffle your deck, have them break the deck, tell you when to stop and half the deck, and when you do that, you show them the 2 cards on the bottom, slyly keeping the hidden 3rd card pressed against the card they're going to sign. Now they have signed the front and back of their card. You place them on the table. Remember, you have to keep the 3rd card, which has the other signature on the back, hidden. Shh. When you wave around the card that has no signature and flip it over, there's no signature, making it seem as if the name moved from one card to the other. Now you show them the cards with both names. Magic done. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Not for me. I'd fail. Swallowing a sword. People who swallow swords have to be really brave or really crazy. It's a sword, for crying out loud, really sharp, really dangerous. Yet, people find a way to swallow them. If you've ever seen someone swallow a sword, you might have thought, how are they not dead? Well, they practiced a lot, which you already know because practice makes perfect. However, these people have to go to crazy lengths to swallow a sword. Now, some performers swallow a metal tube beforehand, or use a trick sword to make you believe they're swallowing it, whereas other people have trained to swallow an actual sword. It takes a lot of psychological and physical training for people to be able to do this. The act of swallowing a sword is called peristalsis, and it requires you to use up to 50 muscles in your throat. Now, these performers are not really swallowing their sword, more like letting it slide down their very relaxed throat. The sword has to be positioned just right, and usually it's lubricated with spit, vegetable oil, or olive oil. When the sword is swallowed, it goes to the bottom of the stomach, and it's a very uncomfortable process. The performer must suppress their gag reflex. At first, they hold their breath to suppress that reflex, but with more practice, they learn how to breathe. It takes years to master this trick, so people, please do not try this at home. Split man. The split man trick is another mind-boggling trick. There's a man who seems to be cut in half, yet he can walk away. Sort of like that costume where you're headless and your head is on a platter. Except in this trick, you seem to be holding on to your legs as your torso dangles in midair. Now, this is an optical illusion that can only be pulled off if you see it from the front. If you see it from the side, you'll be able to see what they're actually doing. The person's body is at an extremely weird angle, bent to the side to pull the trick off. You need pants that are twice your size, then you cut holes in the calf area. The shirt should be cut at the back, so you're only wearing the top part. Also place weights on the bottom of the shirt to weigh it down. Put it on and abracadabra, there you go. But just remember to keep your body at an angle to make it look realistic.
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for y'all that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 10 years of amazing luck. Try it. It really works.
Girl levitating in air.
Now one of magic's bread and butter tricks, levitating a woman.
If you've been to a magic show, then you probably have seen a girl levitating. This trick is pretty simple, actually. Coming from a guy who can actually do maybe 2 card tricks. The girl is lying on a small table, held up by a sturdy pole that's cleverly hidden by the magician. When he puts her through the hoop, he has to move it in a certain motion over the pole, making it seem as if she's going through the hoop. This trick is pretty cool and really simple if you think about it, so let me think about it, and no, it's not really simple at all, no. There you have it, the top 10 most famous magic tricks revealed. So which is your favorite? Have you ever seen any in person or do any yourself? So let me know in the comments below, and I'll handpick and feature your comment in the next video, so look out for your comment. Now it's time for a featured comment from one of our previous videos. This one's from No One Can Beat These 10 Kids, and Here's Why episode. Animal Lover proclaims, "These kids are fitter than my dad." By the way, he does the gym every day. Yeah, this is crazy to think that there are some kids in the world who are stronger than full-grown adults. Literally.